I'm just casting my eye around, and I think all the skippers have their radio control eye truly in place now. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 27th International Model Boat Show. This is, of course, our lifeboat session. So I hope you enjoy this. As I said earlier on, we're not only here to provide a little bit of entertainment, but we set out also to provide a little bit of education. People often look at lifeboats and they wonder why have they got those big numbers on the side of them. What do they mean? What are all the classes of lifeboats? Some of the history of lifeboats? Well, we're going to hopefully send you home a little bit more wiser about lifeboats than which you started off today. So joining me now at Portside, I welcome my colleague Kim Belcher. As I always say, and it always causes him a vast amount of embarrassment, he's going to stand behind me now. He's a walking encyclopedia when it comes to lifeboats. So ladies and gentlemen, my colleague Kim Belcher. Good afternoon, Kim. Good to see you here.
It is afternoon already. Good afternoon, Steve. Yeah, actually there is a gentleman, unfortunately he can never make it these years, a chap called John Sanders, who used to be a superb model builder. He's in now one of those homes where they're cared for, but the knowledge that chap has got, I would never have. You know, he's got more knowledge in his little finger than I've got on lifeboats. He's a superb bloke, and he's done the commentaries up there, real gent. Anyway, enough of John, but maybe that'll get back to him. We wish him well. Most of the boats on the water at the moment, apart from the little one in the middle, we'll come to that in a minute, that's a smaller scale, about a 1/36 scale. But everything else on the water is what we call 1/12 scale, which means that 1 foot in old language on the real boat is 1 inch on these, all right? So this is Rob on my left here, and this is his totally scratch-built 7-class boat, which in real life, 1729, is based down, and is the current boat down at Falmouth, okay? Down in Cornwall. The 17 tells us that it's a 17-metre class boat, and the 29, isn't it on there? That's it, memory when you get to this age. The 29 means it was the 29th production boat. And that's the identification number. When the Coast Guard, when you've seen all the stuff you've seen on television in recent months and last year, when you've got this going on, that's the number that's the operational number. So that will be used between boats and for them to coordinate when there's 2 or 3 boats on what we call the same shout. They also have their own name, which is RNLB, Royal National Lifeboat, and then its name. And then there are 2 other numbers. Inside there's a boat yard number, which whoever make it allocates a number, and then when it gets handed over to the RNI, they give it an asset number, what we call an official number. So each boat has 3 numbers, but what you and I see is this number on the outside, which is the identification. So that's a 17 metre. So the boat coming up here belongs to Jeff Carter, and that's the Ramsgate Trent class. That's got 14 on the front. So that was a 14 metre, is a 14 metre class, and it was the 2nd production model. But it was the first one that went on station. 1401 is a relief boat, or used to be a relief class lifeboat, which means every few boats they make a relief one which are positioned around the country. So one of them breaks down, they just bring that onto station, and the other one goes off to a boatyard. So that's covered the numbers almost, apart from the fact that somewhere, yes, down the bottom end you've got one with a 44 number with its back pointing this way. That's a Waveney class, we'll come back to that, but that's the old imperial measurement. So in actual fact that's 44 foot long, and that's the 18th boat built. Likewise, the boat coming up on its starboard side is a Tyne class with 47 imperial measurement. It's a 47 foot boat, and then it's got 15. Right, let's cover the numbers that you look at. Oh, sorry, over there we've got Alan Paul. He's got one that was actually stationed down at Poole, 33 Imperial, 33 foot long, and that boat, they're not always the RNLI boats designed up by the RNLI or a naval architect. Sometimes they buy in something that is quite functional, and then they just modify it for their own use. And there are 2 of those on the water at the moment. First of all, in the middle, 3307, is built by the Lock-in. They build a lot of little small fishing boats, and it's a Lock-in which has been changed up and used for the RNLI, and it's a Breed class. So we've already got a 7 class, a Breed class, and a Trent class we've talked about. And the other one that was a fishing boat, somewhere there, is in fact the one down here that David from the Phoenix Model Boat Club is just taking the back off. That's called a Waveney class. And the Waveney class we call, or used to be known affectionately as a spam can, because it's a US Coast Guard boat which the RNLI looked at, and it's an aluminium hull, a metal hull. So it got affectionately known as a spam can, once again modified to what the RNLI wanted. So there we are, 44018 is the Waveney class. So we've got all of these English rivers, and now I come to the very latest boat. Andy, Models by Design, is actually controlling his. He's two to my left. He's got his latest model of the Shannon class, and that's based on the one at Dungeness, which was the first one that was put on station. Once again, 1301 was the first boat made, but that's a relief boat. This went on station about 2.5 years ago at Dungeness, and that's a 13-metre boat. 02 signifies it was the second production model, but instead of having propellers and shafts, that works on 2 water jets. And Andy's got it working on 2 German water jets there, and he's controlling it. Look how controllable it is. It's just got 2 water jets and it's spinning it on itself. What else? That's named the Shannon. That's the first time a lifeboat in the RNLI fleet has been named after an Irish river. So that's named after the River Shannon over in Ireland. What else about that boat at the moment? She'll do about 25 knots. She costs about 2.5 million to make, which is a little bit less than the older style down the bottom, which is a Watson class. That's a 46'6" Watson class. That was based, the real boat was based up in Fleetwood in Lancashire, and she cost about 120,000 back in the 60s to make. So we've gone from 1960s, which, looking around the pool, quite a lot of us can remember, being very well behaved in the 60s, some of us. All right, and that's gone from 120,000 to 2.5. When you launch the Shannon class, when you launch the Shannon class, they've got a super cat tractor and a motorised launch carriage, and that's another 1.5 million. So they don't come cheap, but they're now built to last. In the old days, the lifeboats were on station for about 25 years, and then they got sold out to places like China, Greenland, Canada, Finland, Greece, German consortium one. And I had a look a couple of weeks ago at the ones down at Newhaven. Superb, superb. Rob on my left as well, that's what we call totally scratch built. And some of the others are models. John's just reminded me by doing a whirl in front of me that I haven't talked about his Atlantic rib, which is also 1/12 scale. It's been based on a kit that isn't done anymore now, it's a Lesro. But the one thing you'll find on this that is hardly on any others, and this thing has been not on ponds, and it must have done several 100,000 miles in its lifetime. But this isn't shaft driven. Those models around there will know that a lot of people make these. They put a single shaft, when it's in the water, it's got a propeller, you won't notice the difference. And the 2 outboard motors are simulated and act as the rudders. Rob, John hasn't done that, and if you come over onto our stand behind me, you'll see he's got a little display. These little 1/12 motors he's made himself, and they work like the real thing. They're little outboard motors that have got a direct drive from a motor in the top down to 90 degrees and contract gears, and look at its performance, it's superb. That's been in and out of the salt water down at Poole, along with Rob's boat, doing many, many demonstrations over the years. A lovely little boat, very versatile, and to keep water out of those is a real hard job, but he does it. Who haven't I covered? Have we covered most of them there? Right, now, one of my colleagues came up nice, they'll put them that way for you. Please give them 5 minutes to come out the water. Don't be scared of coming over and talking to us. Come and ask questions. As I used to say when I worked in the police, on detective training, there's no such thing as a silly question. If you're asking a question, it's because you want an answer. All right? The silly thing is not to ask. So come and have a go. All right? And gents, just in case you said the wrong thing, I was down at Dungeness the other week, and a lady said, "Can you tell me the answer to such and such with her 2 small children standing there?" I gave her the answer, and then she pushed her husband and said, "There you are. I told you I was right." And I had to turn around and say, "I'm ever so sorry, dropped you in there, well and truly." But she was right. And as I said yesterday, looking round, all right, it's coming up to that sea time of year, Christmas, all right? So gents, if you're looking for a new model boat, now's the time to go out and buy your wife a nice piece of gold jewellery or a nice new diamond ring, because in a week or two's time you'll be thinking, "I'm going to buy one of those Shannons." And if you just pave the way, you will most likely get the right answer, all right? All right, especially if you haven't got a garage down the bottom of the garden that you've got secret access into, all right? If you've got to bring it through the house, you've got to do the right thing. If you can't do that, or haven't got the courage to do it, or you don't want to spend the money, your choice. But don't charge it up to housekeeping in one big lump sum. Feed it through a little bit at a time, and hopefully it won't get noticed, all right? Lady with a sense of humour there, I like that. She's smiling. Good. Well, enough of the commentary. There we are. Chance of photographs is going very well. So if you can put your hands together for my colleagues on the left from the Lifeboat Enthusiasts Society and a few of the other clubs, thanks very much. And thank you for your support. All the best. Have a good day. Cheers.